Thanks for coming, everyone. It's absolutely fantastic, as I was chatting to you guys about earlier, to kind of be here in person again. It really is fantastic to get together. And I think you just can't beat that kind of buzz and energy that we get with these kind of sessions, which is fantastic. So I'm here today to talk to you real helicopter view around kind of modern work management within Microsoft 365. And which is the right tool for you and your organisation. Now, I'm probably not going to answer that question in 20 minutes, but I can kind of give you an overview of the kind of tools that are available to you, and we'll talk through some of the concepts as we work our way through. So my name's Sam, Sam Graver, so I'm hopefully that's updated, fantastic. So I'm the Practice Director for Work Management at CPS, so you've probably seen CPS all around the event, certainly on your lanyards. I've been working in kind of project and program management for around 10 years now, particularly around project and program management consultancy. I'm not going to go through all the other things in there, but yeah, we specialise in all things Microsoft, but particularly in the practice that I'm looking after, we specialise in the kind of work management solutions. So quick thank you to, I guess, sponsors. So without sponsors, we just wouldn't be here today. There's just no way anyone could put on these events without the sponsors. So we've got some headline and platinum and sponsors there, and then we've got some gold, silver and supporting sponsors as well. So yeah, massive thank you to everybody who's doing it. Hi, welcome.
Hi.
You've missed nothing other than very quick intro. So excellent. So why are we having this chat? So I guess all individuals, everybody has work to manage. Okay, so whether that's managing work as an individual personally, whether it's managing work as part of a team, or whether it's managing work as an organisation, we all have kind of work tasks to manage. And the reason we're here to talk today, I guess, is there are so many different ways and so many different tools available to you to manage that work within the Microsoft 365 stack. So we're going to talk around a couple of them, the pros and cons of them, which ones may work for you, which ones may not work for you, and generally work our way through a couple of concepts as we work our way through. The key with any of these systems, I guess, is that the tool set and the system on its own doesn't necessarily solve all your problems. So the technology absolutely isn't a silver bullet. We've got to make sure that we've got the right process and governance and the adoption and change of those tool sets in the right place as well. So it's really important that not only you choose the right tool that's particularly right for you or your department, but you're also putting some thought and effort into how you're going to roll that tool out, the processes that you're going to put around it, who's going to look after it, and how you're going to kind of excite users to make sure that they're going to use the system as well. So those concepts are really, really important. We're not going to go into them too much today because we just physically don't have the time, but they are really important factors to think about, whichever tool it is you might want to choose. In terms of why we manage work, I guess there's three reasons why we might manage work. So as an individual, you're going to want to track your personal tasks. You need to understand all the bits of information and all the tasks you're being asked to do by various people. And historically it's pen and paper stuff, or it's scribbling it on, if you're anything like me working from home, it's scribbling it on envelopes and not then knowing where you put that envelope. So as an individual, it's really important to understand what's being asked of you, the tasks that you've got outstanding, allowing you to manage your time. And there's also a bit of kind of well-being with that. For me, I'd like to be able to see a list of what it is I have to do and the things that I've got to do. I've got a colleague that doesn't talk about to do, and he talks about the little ping noise that it makes when you mark a task as complete. And there's that real nice kind of feeling that you suddenly mark something as done and you can move on to the next one. So as an individual, that's really important. Naturally, we like to be organised. We've then got work to manage within teams. So you're looking at maybe managing interdependencies between the tasks that I'm doing and perhaps the tasks that Chris is doing. So that's really important as well. We want to collaborate on those tasks. We want to track progress. We kind of want to identify if there are any blockers or any issues that are stopping somebody being able to do that work. And that team might be kind of part of a project or just a small departmental team. And then I guess at the organisational level, you can roll those individual tasks up into the team tasks. And you might want to be tracking progress on projects or portfolios of work. You might just be wanting to tracking progress against business as usual activities that you've got in the organisation as well. You might want to start to get some management information out of the system, so you can actually start to produce some dashboards and things like that as well. Or you just might want to track where resources are being used. So it doesn't really matter whether you're looking to manage work as an individual, as part of a team, or at that organisational level. There are tools within Microsoft 365 that will help you and support you to do that. So let's have a look at what some of those tools might be. So there are a number of them. There's 8 up here that we're going to just briefly mention, and then we're going to look into 5 of them in a little bit more detail. So we've got things like To Do, to manage your personal tasks. We've got Planner. We've got Teams that not everybody thinks about as a work management tool, but I'll go into the reasons why I've decided to include that in this list. We've got Project for the Web. We've got Azure Boards, part of the kind of Azure DevOps suite. We've got ProjectOnline, Project Operations, and then lastly there, Power BI. Not a work management tool in itself, but a fantastic tool to do the reporting across all the different tools that you've got within the organisation. So that's kind of the main suite that we've got available to us within 365. They all have different use cases within the organisation. Some will be right for you, some will be right for somebody else. It might be a combination of these are right for different departments within the same organisation as well. So we're briefly going to have a look at Teams, we're going to have a look at Project for the Web, we're going to have a look at Azure Boards, ProjectOnline and Power BI. Just don't have time to look into them all in any more detail, but we're going to run through what they do, kind of how they work, and actually the pros and cons of suggesting each one. So in terms of those tools, I guess we can kind of group them into various ways of working. So at the very top there, kind of our portfolio management tools. We've got ProjectOnline, Project for the Web. Fantastic tools for that really high-level portfolio management. You know, managing your pipelines, program management reporting, RAID reporting. Really good, sophisticated tools that can be used to manage entire portfolios of work. If we bring it down a level and we're looking at task management and just maybe looking at tasks and collaborating within a team, we've also got ProjectOnline plans that exist within there. We've got Project for the Web, really powerful tool set built in the Power Platform. We've got Planner, and we've got Azure Boards as well. And then if we're looking at just the platform tools to support it, we've also got Power Platform, Power Automate, and Power BI. All of those things wrapped around the tool above can be really, really powerful for us. So let's have a look at these one by one. So Teams, so let's say naturally not necessarily seen as a work management tool, but actually if it's configured and used in the right way, it can be very, very powerful to support us with managing work. So I do a talk on Microsoft Teams for the project manager. So how a project manager can use Teams if it's configured in the right way to kind of run an entire project. With add-ins such as project and bring in planner add-ins as well, you can really start to configure it. We can pull in the list functionality that exists within Teams to create ourselves RAID logs as well, so we can have risks and issue logs. And obviously the native functionality in there around collaborating, around documentation as well. It's a really nice place to start to manage work collaboratively as a team. We can also start to bring kind of reporting into there if we want to, and surface our Power BI reporting directly into Teams. And we're seeing lots and lots of people and lots of organisations actually structuring teams very carefully with templates, and they're running their entire projects just using Microsoft Teams. So don't discount that tool as a work management tool. The other ways that kind of teams can support delivery is, we talked briefly about Azure Boards, we talked about Project for the Web, we talked about Power BI. All those can be surfaced within Teams. Everybody nowadays is spending all their time in Microsoft Teams, whether it's chats, whether it's meetings, etc. So if you can pull your Azure Boards into Teams, if you can pull Project for the Web plans into Teams, and you can pull your Power BI reporting into Teams, people don't need to go to disparate systems to find that information. So Microsoft Teams on its own can be a fantastic work management tool. Just got to make sure we configure it in the right way. Moving on to Azure Boards. So fantastic part of the Azure DevOps. Supports agile delivery really well. So it's really, we're seeing some significant, I guess, growth in the use of Azure Boards. Lots of organisations wanting to use it. It's very, very visual. It's very easy to use, and it certainly sits really nicely with the development teams within organisations. So you might have a wider project plan that's kind of sitting within something like ProjectOnline with an activity such as build intranet. But the detail of what it takes to actually build that intranet, people are then breaking that down into work within Azure Boards. So you don't have to have one system that serves both purposes. You can be controlling the project in one tool set, but then the development teams can be using something like Azure Boards to be managing those tasks and those parts.
The other thing a lot of organisations will do is they will pick this up and they will open it up to their customers. So their customers can go in and start to log bugs and issues and things like that, and you can collaborate really nicely with externals, so that you're not having to use Excel spreadsheets that often get used nowadays as well. So, very, very powerful tools. Brilliant for granular level detail, so the real minute detail that you're just not going to keep in a project plan somewhere. And a lot of people don't want to spend their lives in Microsoft Project, especially in development, and they'd much rather be using a tool such as Azure. It's also fantastic for collaboration. You can see what's in progress, you can see the status of things. You don't have to keep going around asking people for updates. Where are you with this task? Have you fixed this? Have you fixed the other? You just go into here and we can see which bucket it's in and work our way through that. The next one that we've got within here, so Project for the Web. So Project for the Web is a great tool. This is one of the newer tools that exists within the 365 work management suite. It's really simple to use and it's really easy to adopt. They're the two things that we find are really, really popular. So if you've got people who aren't very confident in using Microsoft Project but want to produce kind of Gantt charts, maybe you've got marketing teams that want to produce plans for events such as these, but they're not professional project managers, then there might be the occasional project manager as opposed to being a career project manager. Project for the Web gives us some really nice, simple functionality that allows us to create Gantt charts, and then behind it works a little bit like Planner as well, so those Gantt charts are then transposed into Planner boards. And we're seeing it's really powerful for the non-career project manager. The other really nice thing about Project for the Web is it can be easily extendable. So you can see in this screenshot that we've got down here, as well as the basic functionality around just bringing in the Gantt charts and the simple Gantt charts, we've expanded it out with risks and issues and benefits and costs, and it starts to give us some real project and program management capabilities as well. Really nicely extendable, and as I say, really, really simple to use. We can track RAID, we can track project requests, we can do reporting from within here as well, and we just find people feel very, very comfortable using it if they're not actually, as I say, career project.
Forgive me asking a stupid
Yeah.
question. What is RAID?
RAID, great question.
RAID normally to me means disks.
Yes, so RAID is a great question. So risks, assumptions, issues, and dependencies. So I did have in my notes to actually explain this. A fantastic question, yes. So where we've got down here, risks, issues, benefits, etc. So we call them RAID logs or project controls. So anything around benefits lists, change requests, issues, risks, etc. So yeah, great question. And I guess the final option that we spoke about is ProjectOnline. So ProjectOnline's been around for a long time. Previous to that was Project Server. Project Server is still available as an on-premise application as well. This is the full-blown PPM capability that Microsoft offer. So this is the one that allows us to do your full kind of portfolio prioritization, dashboarding, sophisticated resource management, timesheeting, cost tracking, and integrate seamlessly with Microsoft Project. So this is the kind of the full-blown PPM capabilities. This is fantastic for your organizations who are very mature in their use of planning. Certainly it exists within PMOs and professional project managers. And it's a fantastic tool, been around for a very long time. As I say, used very, very heavily within mature organizations. What we do find is for some people this is kind of too big as a tool set, and that's where something like ProjectOnline, Project for the Web would come in, because it's a much simpler and easier tool to use. The other thing, of course, Power BI. So we're talking here about connecting all your data together. It might be that you decide to use ProjectOnline. It might be you decide to use Azure DevOps. It might be that you decide to use Project for the Web. Power BI is your tool that can sit across all of those, pull all the data from the different places, and pull it together nicely for us in dashboarding. The nice thing about Power BI is if you're an organisation that's using all of those tools within different parts of your organisation, you can still pull that data together utilising Power BI. So I guess that takes us on to a question, is kind of which tool did you choose for your organisation? And I guess the important message to take away is it doesn't have to be one, okay? Don't pick one tool necessarily for your organisation. So what I mean by that is if you select a tool such as ProjectOnline and you try and basically say, this is the tool of choice for our organisation, we're going to deploy ProjectOnline to everybody. But you've got development teams who don't really want to use Microsoft Project. They don't particularly want to use the full PPM capability. You've got marketing teams who want to manage small projects, really simple things, create really simple Gantt charts. Forcing something like ProjectOnline on that entire organisation isn't going to give you the benefits that you're particularly looking for. So have a think about the individual departments, what their requirements are, what their capability is in terms of managing work. And if they just want to do some personal task management, let's use Planner, let's use To Do. If they're a department that wants to do some really basic planning, then maybe Project for the Web's the right tool. And if they're a heavy development team and they're working in an agile way, then let's use something like Azure Boards. And then let's use Teams and Power BI to pull that data together, surface it together, so that if you're sitting in the management of that organisation, you can still pull and see the data that you want to see. So, lots of different tools available. They're all great for different people, if that makes sense. They all have slightly different levels of maturity, but it doesn't have to be one. And that's the real key message. The whole Microsoft, I guess, environment has changed very much now, in that there are so many different tools available to you. You can basically pick the one you want, deploy it in the right way, and then use something like Power BI to pull that data together. So, wait. So I guess as a summary, in terms of a key message to take away, so there are many tools. There are lots and lots of tools available to you. Have a think about who your users are before you choose one of them. What's their maturity? What do they actually want to do? What are the problems that you're looking to solve? Think about what's your objective. What is the end goal? Why are you looking to use these tools? If you're looking to use them so you can aggregate the management of work across 5 different departments, you need to think about that at the start. You don't want to just send one department off to do their thing, another department off to do their thing, and then 3 months down the line decide you want to join the data together and realise that you've actually configured the systems in completely different ways and there's no unique keys, for example, to pull the reporting together. Have a think about your reporting, what reporting might you want. What you generally find is your reporting then drives the way you're going to roll that tool out and the configuration that might be there. Have a think about adoption. So just turning these tools on, walking in on Monday morning and saying to a team, you're going to use this, you're going to use this, and you're going to use this, really isn't going to deliver you any benefits. So have a think about your adoption. How are you going to bring the users on the journey with you? What trainings you need to give them so they really want to use it. You drag them away from the systems and tools that they've been using for years. And get help. Have a look out there, see people who have done this before, and go and find some advice, in a community such as this, people who have done this before and know what they're doing. So, very, very quick summary of the tools available within 365. As I say, very much a helicopter view. Each of those you could spend a huge amount of time on talking through. But yeah, absolutely. Other than that, thank you for your attendance. Don't forget there's a quiz this evening. I think 5:30 drinks and then 7 PM charity quiz, so please do go along to that if you get a chance. And other than that, thank you very much for your attendance and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Any questions?
What's the key difference between Azure Boards and Planner?
So I think, I guess capability. So Planner is quite limited in its capability. So it's quite, what's the best way to word it? So it's very good for individuals or an individual team. Sorry, Chris. I'm looking at Chris knows it. Azure Azure Boards just has a lot more functionality within it. So it's easier to report on. So things like the task comments within a planner board you just aren't able to do. And it's just a much more sophisticated tool and it gives you much more options. I think Planner's free, which is nice. It's available with the standard licensing. Azure Boards comes with additional licensing. So, but it really depends on the scope and the size of the deployment you're looking for. If you're looking for a really simple kind of deployment in a very small team, and all they want is that Kanban type functionality, Planner's fantastic. If you're looking to scale up and do something at a more of an enterprise level, then Azure Boards would be a much better tool for it. Any other questions?
project for the web.
Yeah.
What's the license required for that?
So Plan 1 license is the basic license that you need for Project for the Web. We're seeing huge growth in Project for the Web. Microsoft are investing a huge amount of money in it as well. And there's lots of new features coming out of it very regularly. So, resource management is something that's come out recently, and slowly but surely you'll see the functionality within that. You can import Microsoft project plans into account, which you did a few months ago. So if you've got people who are using projects, you can import that data in as well. And it's just so nicely extendable. So using the Power Platform, Power Automate, you can build lots of additional functionality in those stuff. But yeah, Plan 1 is the basic license. Any other questions? Excellent. Thank you for your time. So anything else, please do let us know. Let's say quite short 20 minutes to cover that stuff. Big old area. But yeah, thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Well done.
Excellent. Thank you.